YouTube. For this week's tutorial, I am going to go through the steps required to set up video measurement. Everything except the actual code pieces for that. That's a bit technical and I'm not going to go into that level of detail. But everything that you need to set up from the user interface perspective of SiteCatalyst or reports and analytics. So to get started, you need to get into the admin console first. So we'll go ahead and go to admin tools, and then we're going to go ahead and go to the report suites. Now I'm going to do one caveat here with this, is the fact that I don't have videos on my webpage. So I will show some samples of what the video reporting looks like, but it won't be from my data, and I may have to blur out some bits and pieces just so that you can get a general feel of what they look like once the data is coming into the site. Alright, so I have my report suite selected here. And then what we need to do, there's there's a total of 8 variables that need to be set. 3 that are called EVARs, or conversion variables, 4 events, and then 1 traffic variable, also known as a custom insight. So we're going to go start with the EVARs, which are our conversion variables. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and I'm not currently using these for anything. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to expand these out, and I'm just going to pretend that I'm going to have video data coming in here. All 4 of these are enabled. They're not collecting any data at the moment. They're just kind of by default. The top 4 are enabled. So I don't really need to do that. I'm just going to give them names. Just so that they make sense to for video tracking. So the first one we're going to call a video, and the default expiration on those is going to be by default is always visit, and this one defaults to visit as well. Everything else can pretty much basically stay the same. For EVAR 2, that's going to be segments. So this is going to be tracking this video segments. So, and that depends on how your developer codes how you're tracking the segments. It can be as simple as every 25% of the video is complete, or at every commercial break if you have commercials in your video. I mean, the way you set up the videos in terms of the segments is really based up to you. And now the default expiration for that is actually on page view instead of on visit. You can actually see here for expire after, you can see that there's a lot of different ways that you can expire it. And so here we want to expire segments after the page view. In this case, it's the view of the video or the app that we're watching versus the visit. So that anytime anyone rewatches it, it counts it again, rather than not counting it until the next visit. So it expires at the end of every page view, or video view in this case. And then the final one here is going to be called content type. You may have more than one content type on your page. Video is going to be one of them, and this particular one is going to be what you're going to feed into it is basically the content type is video. And then you can also feed other types of traffic to this. Let's say it's a PDF or a document or whatever type of content that you're having people look at on your site. Video is just going to be the default one that's going to be fed into it if you're going to do video tracking. Alright, and the default expiration for that is also going to be page view. Alright, so we now have our various EVARs set up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to disable number 4 because I don't really need that up there. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. This is going to give you a little warning here, just kind of saying if you're changing expirations on EVAR and that kind of thing. Since none of these EVARs were collecting any data anyway, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to click OK and say it's fine. It doesn't matter. And here just kind of gives you, yes, it was approved and everything is going forward. So here are my 3 EVARs set up now. EVARs being conversion variables. Alright, so now the next ones are going to be the success events. the event tracking. Okay, so here I do have a few events that I have enabled, so I'm not going to use those. I'm going to go ahead, and I need 4 of them, so I'm going to add 1 more here. And I'll just go ahead and click off all of these, and these are all going to become enabled for the video tracking. Alright, and so the first one we're going to call video time, and it's going to track just the time. Basically, it counts the number of seconds spent watching the video. Okay, and it's since the last data collection or image request. And this is always going to be a counter. The next one is going to be video views. So just how many times the video has been viewed. And this one is also going to be a counter. And actually in this case, I actually want these to be a counter with subrelations, not without subrelations. So I'm going to go ahead and just change those. Alright, so the next one is going to be video completes. So how many times did people actually complete viewing the video? So video views is anytime you start viewing the video, boom, it counts as a video view. But if you stop somewhere halfway along the way, whatever, it stops counting. Video completes will count only if you've actually completed 100% of the video. And this one should also be a counter. And the final one is going to be video segment views. So whatever segments have been set up by the developer, we also want to make sure that we count how many views there are for the individual segments. And this one's also going to be a counter. So those are the ones that we're going to set up today, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. It's going to give me a warning, just kind of like, hey, you know what, changing a counter event to a currency event, whatever, vice versa. Anytime you make a change, it's going to give you a warning, and it's like, are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Alright, so those are my success events, and then there's the final piece that I want to add is going to be, let's see, conversion is traffic variable. It's also known as a custom insight or an S-prop. And I have a couple of S-props already enabled here, so I'm going to go ahead and enable for this final one. And this one I'm also going to call video, and I'm going to make sure that this one is enabled. Alright, I'll click save. So I have all of that set up. Now, the next thing you want to do, now one thing that is important is that final piece here, this video tracking. So for S-prop number 4, you need to contact customer care from Adobe and have them enable pathing on this particular S-prop. That's important in order to do the next step. And I'm going to show you the next step. I just won't be able to complete it because since I don't have videos, there's no point in me asking Adobe to enable pathing on that particular S-prop. But what we'll do here is we have video management, video reporting. Okay, so here it kind of says, hey, step 1, you know, before turning on video, it's important to first implement the video tracking, you know, all this kind of stuff. Have you completed these steps? Let's assume that I have, and I'll say yes, let me continue. And now it gives me this kind of checklist. And so here I want to assign the correct EVARs, and this is why we did that step first. So now I have the video, the segments, and the content type. Just want to make sure that those are selected off, and here it gives you a little bit more information in terms of, you know, making sure that you set them up correctly. And then here we have the custom events, and we'll go ahead and set that up too. So we have video time, video views, video completes, and video segment views. And of course, these individual things, you can actually name them differently if it would make more logical sense to your group to call it something else. I just kind of match it up with what the default suggestion is from Adobe. And then finally there is video here. Okay, so we will go ahead and save, and since I have not enabled pathing, I am going to assume that this is going to go ahead and give me an error message. It does give me a warning. I'll click OK. Oh, everything was approved. So it's entirely possible that pathing is just default enabled by everything right now, but it's always better to check with customer service just to make sure, because in the past you've always had to. You can go ahead and go through these steps, and then if you're having problems with any of your video tracking, then at that point you're probably going to have to talk to customer care just to make sure that you have pathing enabled on this one if you don't already. Alright, so by doing that, what that does, so we'll just go ahead and go back to Reports and Analytics. And here it shows now we have a video report, which we didn't have before in this list of reporting. Alright, so you can see that my video overview report it basically has no data in it. Obviously, one, I just set up the video tracking, and as I said, I have no videos on my website to track. Any videos that are on my site are embedded from YouTube, and I can't add the additional tracking code to that. So unfortunately, this report will remain empty unless I ever start, actually hosting videos on my web server to begin with. Alright, so I just hopped over to another client of mine's video reporting instead, so that you can kind of have a feel for what the video reporting looks like. I have blurred out some identifiable information, but you can kind of see here the kind of data that you would get in terms of like total information. You get some nice bubble charts and some other types of, these are actually also small bubble charts, but they're not a lot of traffic, so the bubbles are all kind of small. And you can kind of see here average time watched on videos and that type of thing, including your list of top 10 videos here, which thankfully are all fairly generic named, so I didn't have to blur those out. And besides that, with the videos, there's a number of other reports. They're all pretty standard reports, list of videos, details of videos, all video related. I'm not going to go into too much detail on those, since this is my client's reporting and everything, but all fairly standard looking SiteCatalyst reports. If you're familiar with those, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that standard reports, you have a chart at the top, you've got the details below, etc., with a list of different metrics that you can choose from. But anyway, that is how to set up your video tracking from the GUI interface. And if you are have any questions at all about how I did this, or any questions related to how this is all set up, please leave a comment below. If you would like to see the technical end of this, what the code looks like, how the code is implemented, I might have someone help me, since I'm not a developer myself, but I could actually have someone help me explain how the actual code implementation happens. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know, and I will try and put up a video regarding that. Also, if you have any other requests about other types of tutorials, otherwise I'm just going to kind of keep going through the various reports and things, and just kind of keep doing these tutorials in the order that makes sense to me to do. But if you have any specific requests, let me know in the comments, and I might consider doing that as the next tutorial as well. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Please like the video, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye.